Hi, welcome back. Come on in, come on in. I have coffee ready, I have water, we can have tea. I made those ice bot cookies. I made them last week, and then you form them into logs, and you roll them up, and you wrap them, and then when someone comes over, you slice them up, and 6 to 8 minutes later, we have fresh cookies to go with our coffee. So that'll be good. Thanks for coming over. I'm super glad you came back. And I'm really glad that you left all those comments, and I'm getting to meet new friends. And it's good. It's wonderful. It makes me happy. I get to talk to people, and we talk about stitching, and I've stolen a couple ideas, so that's a good thing, I guess. Gosh, I kind of feel like a hockey player with some kind of good luck charm before the game. I ate another pickle before I started this video. So, okay, hopefully it'll be good. Last time I didn't eat my pickle, I don't think, because it was so jumbly and it didn't feel comfortable, and I was all nervous. And now I just want to sit and talk and tell you about my stitching. And I decided instead of a quilt today that I would talk to you about some Polish pottery. So I collect Polish pottery, as you can see, and I have for several years. When we were living in Europe, I was lucky enough to go on a trip with 3 other Army wives, and we drove from the west portion of Germany, and we went to Poland. So we came to the border, and we all had our passports ready, and the 2 guards that were there, they had machine guns. And we were Army wives wanting Polish pottery, and they said that we needed to give them our military ID. And we each held it up to show them, and one of them said he wanted it. And every one of us said no. The idea of when you're a military wife, you don't give up your military ID. And if you have to go home to tell your husband and his commander gets involved, and no, we are not giving up the military ID. So we offered our passports, and he wanted our passports, so we stacked the 4 passports on top of a bag of Hershey's Kisses, and we passed it out the window. And then 4 women in a van, we sat and looked at the clock, the little clock ticking off. We never said a word. And it was so quiet. You could hear the clock ticking for 14 minutes. That's a long time for 4 women not to talk and to sit in a van thinking all kinds of things in your mind, like, I want that Polish pottery. I want to go to that factory. I want to see it. But is it worth this? I don't know. Are they going to come back? Are they going to bring us our passports? What's going to happen? How are we going to explain this to anybody? And 14 minutes later, we saw a younger, different person than was at at the window, the car window, came back to our car. And there was cars lined up behind us. And we had the window rolled down a little bit. And he took all 4 passports and threw them in the car. So we drove. We went forward. So, yep, that's Hershey's Kisses helped us get started on this collection for me. So, anyway. Polish pottery. I use it every day. You can put it in the dishwasher. You can bake in it. You can put it in the refrigerator. So it is something that I definitely use. And let's see. It started back in the 1300s, and it started in Germany, Bunzlar, the town of Germany. It was, that's what it eventually is now called. But in the 1300s, the pottery was brown with a brown glaze. And then, let's see, the King of Prussia, Frederick the Great, he decided that he wanted to order some pottery. And once the king ordered pottery, then everybody wanted it. And then fast forward to the 1700s, Johann Altmann, he developed a way to make glaze that did not include lead, so then the people were healthier when they ate food out of the pieces of Polish pottery because there wasn't lead on it. But he also was the person that came up with this idea of pouring a cast of the different pieces of pottery so that they could make many pieces instead of throwing each one on a pottery wheel. And the people that did all the work were the farmers, because in the wintertime they couldn't farm, ice, snow, what have you, and it was just too cold. Nothing would grow. So they decided to throw pottery and make to sell, to make money, and they were more utilitarian pieces, vessels and bowls and things that people could use. So anyway, and then the war came, and so there was only 7 factories, 7 places where they made different pieces of Polish pottery, and every single factory was demolished during the war. So then when the war was over and they restructured the boundary lines, that particular town ended up now being in Poland. And so they rebuilt the factories, and that's why we refer to it today as Polish pottery. And it starts out as a white pieces of pottery, and then they put the blue glaze and other colors. They add other colors to different patterns. But these patterns were made to begin with from the farmers. Different families had different patterns, so they know who made which piece. And this is called the peacock design. That eye. There's stars, there's leaves, there's Christmas patterns. I collect all different kinds. This one happens to be one of my favorites, the darker blue. And when the farmers first started doing this pottery, they carved the design out of a piece of potato. So that's what they stamped all the way around their pieces. Today, they use a sponge. It holds the paint, keeps it wet longer so that they can make it all around some of the big, huge pieces. They use brushes to add on the leaves or the little trees or whatever they're making. So anyway, yeah, I love it. I find it different places. I started this piece right there. That was my first piece. The cheese lady next to it, she comes apart and you can serve cheese for the cheese course. I have all kinds that holds flowers, holds my lemonade in the refrigerator. I bake in it. I have one piece that's even a chicken that I got as a housewarming gift from my girlfriend, and it's a pretty neat piece. So anyway, I love it, and it's a pleasure to bake with. Bakes very even. It's super easy to clean. Cleans up like a dream. So that's really nice. That's really nice. So anyway, I thought that maybe you might want to learn a little bit about it, and if you have any questions, I could try to answer them. You find it in different gift shops here in America. Some of the military bases still sell it, and there's several companies online that sell Polish pottery. So, and I happen to have a girlfriend. She collects it too. But anyway, that's my Polish pottery story. So let's see. Geez, it was cold out there this morning, wasn't it? Yikes! It's still kind of chilly. My daffodils are up 4 or 5 inches. I'm kind of hoping, fingers crossed, that the frost doesn't really kill them. We've had so warm, and then all of a sudden it got really chilly. So I don't know. I want to show you a couple of previous finishes. Let's see. First of all, I'll show you this one. This one, since we're in the dining room, kitchen area, this one hangs in kind of in that area. Annie B's design, and I did it in 2017, and it's called God Save the Queen. And I put it in a shadow box, and I just put it on that sticky board and framed it myself. So it's kind of a fun, goofy one. I like it. So let's see if we can not have so much glare. There you go. Is that good? That's pretty good. It was a fun one. Went really fast. That was really, really fast. Okay, this one. Let's see. This one I did in 2016. So this one is Not Forgotten Farms. And I framed it myself. There's a little bit too much fabric for my taste now, but oh, I know what I want to tell you about this. A lot of my pieces that are done and on the wall I always think, gosh, I wonder if the kids are going to want these, or when I'm gone, and are they going to go through my things, and are they going to give it to Goodwill, sell it for 50 cents at a yard sale, or I don't know. Anyway, I came up with this brilliant idea that all my different samplers, I would hide somebody's initial or their birthday. Okay, so like this one in the pattern. Here's the pattern. Okay, let's see. Here's the pattern, and it says 1863 at the top. Oop, there you go. Well, I changed it to 1885 because our youngest son was born in 1985, and I thought he would notice that it said 85. And then, oh, you can't really tell, but the letter G and the letter W, I used a different color, so he would know that was for Gabriel. And so sometimes I hide their birthday, sometimes I hide their initials, and I just thought that maybe if they saw their initials, they'd want to keep that one, or if their birthday was stitched on it, they would snatch that one in the mad dash after mom and dad are gone, and everybody's divvying up what goes to the yard sale, what people want. So yeah, most of my pieces, I hide the date of their birthday, or the year, or their initials. So anyway, kind of fun. That was fun to look back on. Okay, so I have a finish. I'm so happy. Okay, wait, I have a couple finishes. I finished 2 pin cushions with the little birds on them. I posted a picture of the little birds on Instagram, and I made a project bag, but I sent all 3 of those things out into the world for Stitchy Goodness. So fingers crossed that people like them, or the people that are getting them like them at least. So anyway, okay, and then I have one big finish that I wanted to share. Look, while I'm over here, you can see more Polish pottery. Ta-da! It's finished! Yay! This makes me happy. It's all done. Okay, this was tricky. For some reason, I have the toughest time with the thread. Okay, this is Heartstrings Samplery Coffee Saves Lives by Beth Twist. Okay, I started it in November, and I just now finished it last week. Oops. Okay, this is the one where I finished. I ran out of thread several times. I had to reorder some thread, and then I saved the basket of donuts for last because I thought it was the funniest. And the green that's in there, I don't know if you can see it. Yep, the green. There you go. I started to run out. That was my last piece, and I did not want to order more. Okay, so I did that trick where you take what you have left of the color, the Fancy Floss or what have you, and then you match it up to a color of DMC, and then you separate the threads and then put in one piece of DMC and one piece of the Fancy Floss, so that can kind of stretch it a little bit. And leaves are kind of variegated anyway, so it wasn't particularly super serious, but if it was on one of the lines or something, you might notice it more. But anyway, that's a great way to extend your thread if you need to just a teensy bit more and you want it to match, and you don't want to. I don't have an LNS that's here, so I have to mail or send away and then wait a week to finish just a couple of pieces of green. I didn't want to do that. I was too impatient. So yay, it's finished. It makes me happy. Yay, that's a good one. One year for my resolution, I decided that I would have one piece of cross stitch framed each month. And I think I might need to get back into that. And that every time I picked one up, I dropped one off. And yes, I like to finish some, but some of them I'd like to have framed, or at least listen to Kitten Stitcher or East Coast Crafter and try to do a better job at framing some of mine. And I'd like to get a few more framed and out of the box that I'm saving. So anyway, that's good. That's a good thing. Made me happy. Okay, work in progress. I'll just switch it around and we'll talk about vintage animals. Vintage Animals by Jeanette Douglas. Okay. All right, this one's a beauty. It's so fun. It's going pretty fast. There we go. Can you see that better? Let's see. There you go. It's going pretty fast. It's kind of fanciful. The alphabet is kind of wonky and fun. And this is the one that I decided that I would stitch for my little grandsons and put in a plastic frame with plastic instead of glass. And we're going to have them hang it real low, 3 or 4 feet off of the ground, so that they can look at all the animals and count or do their alphabet. You know, Snug Harbor Crafts, when Kef says to her mom, how many alphabets do we need? Who needs to learn their alphabet? Well, my little grandsons, that'll be perfect for them to point to the letters. And I changed the letters for the grandsons. The letter C for Cooper, the letter H for Hunter, and then I made their mom and dad's letters a little different too. So anyway, this one's going really fast. It's really fun. It's cute. It's easy. This grass. Okay, I wasn't going to tell you. This grass and this bunny remind me of this really funny story. Okay. When the boys were growing up, I don't know if I should tell you this story. Okay, I think I will. I'm going to just tell you the story. We're friends now. Let's have a drink of coffee. Okay. Okay, when the boys were growing up, once a month, I would do a extremely formal dinner. You had to dress for dinner. We had silver and crystal, and I polished the silver, and we had china, and in the wine glasses there was either colored water or Kool-Aid, and then they learned, and they had salt cellars and knife rests, and we did the whole thing. I wanted them to grow up to be gentlemen, to know how to sit at a table and have exquisite manners and use all the things and not be intimidated by them. Don't worry. Their dad took them out once a year, twice a year camping, and they had no manners day, and they wiped their fingers on their clothing and didn't use a handkerchief, and they ate stew out of a can, for crying out loud, over the fire, and they still talk about it. So anyway, okay, so once a month I would do these really fancy dinners, and sometimes we would invite people over, the minister or co-workers or neighbors or friends or what have you, and we would tell them it was a dress for dinner, and we sent out an invitation, and we had little favors for them to go home. And so I was trying to teach the boys about really good music during dinner and making a beautiful centerpiece, and sometimes it got a little stuffy and the boys would kind of roll their eyes, but they'd be there with one would always wear a bow tie and one would always have a regular tie. And anyway, okay, so this one time it was springtime, obviously, close to Easter. I don't think it was Easter dinner. So anyway, down the center of the beautiful linen tablecloth, I put a piece of AstroTurf. I thought it would be funny and cute, and I collected all these little bunnies that I had as decorations around. I had glass ones and china ones and those little fuzzy brown ones. That little bunny reminds me of it. And I lined it all up and had a little bit of flowers or whatnot. And then right before company came, and right before the boys came to the table, I sprinkled, I don't know why I did this, I sprinkled chocolate-covered raisins just here and there behind the bunnies. And I thought the boys would think it was funny. And so they sat down at the table, and when they were supposed to have their eyes closed saying grace, I heard a couple giggles, and obviously they had peeked and they could see that there was some little bunny buttons on the table. And they thought it was hilarious and funny, and so I was all pumped up and thought, oh good, what a great mom, you made them laugh, and here they are at this fancy dinner and everything's going to be great. So we decided that dinner we were like family style, and we were passing the dishes. So we started, and the dishes started getting passed, and one of the dishes was, I think, potatoes or something, warm, and they set it down and passed and passed. Everybody was doing all the right things, and pretty soon the boys were starting to laugh hysterically, and they wouldn't stop, and Mr. Wright looked at them, and I looked at them, and we all were like, please pull it together. You're supposed to have good manners and good table manners. and they could not stop laughing. And then one of the gals that was there, the guest, she started giggling, and I couldn't figure out, it wasn't that funny. Okay, the bunny buttons, there you go, that was funny. Well, the heat from some of the dishes when they set them down to pass, or for the next person to pick up, had touched the bunny buttons, and it had melted the chocolate onto the serving dish, and then each person passed it, and the chocolate started melting and getting stuck on everything, and everybody had it on their clothing and their hands and their linen napkins, and the boys were dying. They thought it was hysterical, and they were, little boys, what they were thinking that it was. And it smelled like chocolate. It was chocolate. I swear to you, it was chocolate. It was everywhere and on everybody. And it just got worse and worse. And it was all over the tablecloth and on all the crystal and the dishes. And okay, so Mr. Wright called it. We had to call a timeout. Everybody had to get up. We had to wash off as best we could and clean up and just eat dinner, and then everybody just go home and clean up and change clothes. And okay, so while it was funny, and it still would be funny, but the hot dishes next to the chocolate covered raisins probably wasn't the best idea. So note to self, you might not want to do that if you're having a fancy dinner. But okay, so both boys ended up being wonderful men with great, excellent table manners, and yes, they can have pizza on a paper plate, but yes, they both have exquisite manners, and they can pull them out when they need to. So that's one of our funny family stories. So I don't know really why I told you I wasn't going to, but every time I look at that cross stitch piece, that's what I'm thinking. So anyway, okay, the other work in progress I have is the Silent Sampler by Rosewood Manor, and I started this on New Year's Day, like I said I would. So this is where I am. Got the outline of the basket and I just started using some silks on a little tiny piece of, I think it's like a lavender color, and just started on some of the vines. So it's beautiful. The fabric is really pretty, and that's 28 count mushroom Lugana. So and I stitch in hand, so for it to be real pliable like that, it really is nice. Works really well. Okay, so one of the reasons I decided to do this video today, because I told you before, sometimes I feel a teensy bit guilty because I steal other FlossTube people, other Instagram people's ideas. So one of the ladies' names is Magnolia_baby_creates, and she's on Instagram. And she had this beautiful Afghan, and I really loved the colors. They were so inspiring and happy and cheerful and uplifting. And I've made hats and scarves and a couple baby blankets, but I've never made a full-size Afghan. So there's a blog called Attic 24, and she has wonderful creations and really beautiful pieces and yarns, and the way she puts color together is, it's so swirly and lush, and it just makes you want to do some of the projects. So anyway, okay, so the gal on Instagram showed her progress, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I placed my order, and the order comes from England. Okay, so the cost of the money. Okay, so when you order it, it's going to tell you a certain amount, and I just looked on Google to see what the translation was from euros to dollars. So, when you're thinking about it, mine ended up being $3 or $4 more on the day that they used my credit card to put it through. So just so that you kind of have a heads up that that's how they do it. But anyway, okay, so it came yesterday. It came so fast, I couldn't believe it. Okay, so I was just stepping into the shower yesterday, and I heard the doorbell, and I thought, no, this is not good. I'm just going to take my shower. Okay. So I took my shower, get out, and I get clothes on and start to get ready, and no, I did not take any time to do my hair. So it was still wet, no makeup. So I went off to the door, and there was a little sticker on the door. Oh, sorry, we missed you. And there was no package. So I thought, okay, I'll have to figure out how to have them drop it off again, or where do I go, or how do you do this? I think it was DHL. But just as I was about to close the door, the neighbor lady came over and she brought me this huge sack. And so, and she said, oh, this came for you. And I'm like, okay, thank you very much. And we chatted, okay. And then she said, it came from England. And I said, yes, it's yarn for a blanket. And she's like, oh, well, we were all wondering, and some of the ladies in the neighborhood were talking. So obviously, I live in a neighborhood with a few older gals, and they all were so excited that something came from England, and what was it? And so it's a whole discussion. So everybody now wants to see the blanket. But anyway, okay, so the bag of yarn came, 15 different balls of yarn, skeins of yarn, and it's called a sweet pea blanket. So I have my crochet hooks, I have my yarn. I'm going to do my little sample swatch, so to make sure that I do the right size, use the right hook, so I have enough yarn. And then maybe next time I do a video, I could maybe show you some of my progress. So it's called a crochet along, kind of like our stitch alongs. So she has it set up where you get your yarn ready, and then 1 week you do 15 rows, and then 1 week you do 15 more rows. And so it's like a group of people showing off how they're doing it, how their stitching is going, and the colors in the rows. And so I'm excited. I've never tried anything like that before. And it's so pretty. And the yarn is really, really soft and vibrant, and I love the colors. Oh, it's not showing up that well. Now I know what people are saying. It's really juicy and bright. It looks like a big old fat raspberry. But maybe not so much on the camera. But anyway, okay, so the yarn's really nice. So I'm excited. I'm excited to start that. That'll be good. That'll be good. Okay, so what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? Let me see. Ooh, it was so chilly this morning. One of the things I'm really grateful for is this metal, it's a pan, upside down pan, metal. It's about this deep, this wide, and I sit my chicken's water on it, and we plug that pan in at nighttime. And so then in the morning, when I go out there to check on them and give them snacks and make sure they have water and food, and I don't have to chisel away at their water because it doesn't freeze overnight. So, ooh, I'm so grateful. That's a good thing. I'm really, really grateful for that. Okay, I found this yarn at Joann Fabrics. They say you're supposed to make a bath mat out of it. I don't really understand that at all. But it's this long pom-pom thing. I think it was $3. I mean, I know I pulled it out wrong, but I kind of want to hang this above my kitchen sink and sew some hearts, some red hearts in between, or fabric hearts or something for Valentine's Day and snowy winter. And I never saw yarn like this before. It's called Pompadoodle, and they want you to crochet a bath mat. I think that would be too. I don't even know how you would do that, but I thought it was funny, and I thought it was fun, and I liked it. I thought it was good. Okay, and here's the one thing I'm super, super grateful for. I asked for it for Christmas, and my kids gave it to me. Okay, this is it. It's called a guac lock, and I eat, 3 or 4, 5 avocados a week. Sometimes I make guacamole, sometimes I just make it on top of my toast, but and I have tried every trick, every method, every wives' tale, whatever, to keep guacamole from going brown. Okay, so normally in the olden days, pre-Christmas, I would keep it in a container, airtight container, and I would slice an onion and put the onion right on top so no air would get in there, so my guacamole or avocado mixture for my toast wouldn't get brown. And okay, let's be honest. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I wasn't super thrilled. But this really works. This has this little air hole at the top, and it's still green. You can tell the stuff is still green. It's so amazing. And then it has another piece that goes under that you can keep pushing it up. You can make enough for 3 or 4 days, and it doesn't turn brown. Okay, so it says Casabella is the name of the company, and it's called Guac/Lock. I'll try to find out where they bought it, or maybe we can get it online or something. But this changed my life. I love this. I love this present. It was good. They listened to me. I got what I wanted. They was asking, Mom, what do you want? What do you want? So I asked specifically for that, and it works beautifully. So, yay, that makes me happy. Okay. Well, okay, I feel a lot better this time. I don't feel so jumpy or what have you. I'm so glad you stopped by. And thanks a lot for all those comments and getting to know each other and becoming friends. And Connie, I'm still looking for those cinnamon chips. And do not send me any. It is the chase. I am gonna find them because she talked about making snickerdoodle bread, and I kind of want to do that. It sounded so good. So now I'm on the hunt for cinnamon chocolate chips. I think I've been to, not cinnamon chocolate chips, just cinnamon chips. I think I've been to 6 or 7 grocery stores. I'm really getting close to ordering them on Amazon, but I have 2 more stores to check before I do that. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for having coffee and an icebox cookie with me. It's really good. It's tricky to have this hobby that's really a one-man show where you sit at home and you stitch, and so it kind of gets you all excited and happy that you want to share with other people. And I love looking at what everybody else is doing, and it's so inspiring. And quite frankly, it does. Doing a video makes you want to get a teeny bit more done, so you could finish that leaf or finish that flower, so that you get to share it with other people. So. Thanks for indulging me and letting me talk about my Polish pottery, and maybe next time I'll do a quilt again instead of dishes. So I have other collections. I can sit in front of that, I guess. But anyway, it's been fun. Thanks. I hope you have a great day. It's sunshiny out, but it's so cold. So kind of bundle up. Well, where we are. Probably not you folks in Australia or Florida or Arizona. But anyway, thanks for stopping. We'll chat next time. Take care. Happy stitching. Bye.